Joe Skeletor Giannetti.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Joe Skeletor Giannetti. I'm making this video to answer a lot of questions that have been buzzing around New England area as far as MMA. Two biggest ones, I think, are one, why did I pull out of Cage Titans? And two, why did I wait till the last minute to do so? I'm going to answer the second question first. It's the easiest to answer. I didn't. The best way I can get through this answer as fast as possible is I'm just going to take you through the timeline. End of November, I get the fight with Shawn L. There was no other options. I just wanted to stay active. Obviously, I want to rematch Michael Dufort at lightweight and get my title back. He was waiting for UFC Canada and didn't happen. Whatever. I got the option of Shawn L or Nate Williams. As you know, Nate Williams pulled out against me once already. He's also coming off a loss, hasn't put any streaks together, hasn't fought in any big promotions, doesn't do anything for my career, and I got to cut weight through the holidays. Then we've got Shawn L, who coming off a win at least, but not against the best opponent. I think 3 or 4 losses before that, no win streak. He fought in the Contender Series, got knocked out, so that was kind of like, all right, maybe that'll mean a little. So it basically came down to either sit around and not fight in January or take a fight with two guys that don't do anything for my career. You know, fighting Lally, I can say it's a Contender Series vet and I don't have to cut weight, but overall really doesn't do anything for me in the grand scheme of global MMA. But I took the fight, agreed to it, told Cage Titans I'm in, let's do it. December 8th comes around and I find out about the Ultimate Fighter casting call. They were looking for middleweights and featherweights. You know, I talked to my team, my teammates, my family, and I was really considering trying out for featherweight. But, you know, with the problems we've had in the past at lightweight and talking to other featherweights that, you know, are pretty clean on their diets and where their weight gets to, even when they're not clean, I decided that it's just, you know, we're close. You know, I think that we could get close, but I don't think we could get the job done. So I decided, why not? Let's apply for 185. And I know it sounds crazy to a lot of people considering I mostly fight at 155 pounds, but as I explained to a lot of people, I'm undefeated at 170 pounds. I had just fought at 170 pounds, and I had just agreed to another fight at 170 pounds. So to me, I'm really only going up one weight class. And I met Israel Adesanya 5 years ago at the Ultimate Fighter finale when I weighed in. I was already taller than him. He had much more lean mass than me, but I've gotten bigger and stronger since then. And with enough time, I would just get bigger and stronger. So I began bulking for my fight at 170, but I kind of turned the knob up to 10 just in case I ended up getting reached out to for middleweight on the Ultimate Fighter. Fast forward a little bit, they reach out to me. They say, hey, how you been? We want to interview with you for the Ultimate Fighter. So be it. January 5th comes around. I do my interview with 2 producers from the Ultimate Fighter, and it went great. As far as I was concerned, I was on the show. You know, they loved everything I was saying. It went good. They told me when they'd be in touch if I was on, and so be it. Then, January 8th, I reach out to Cage Titans. I let them know, hey, I'm going to be pulling out of the fight. I'm 99% sure that I'm going to be on the Ultimate Fighter. You know, middleweight sounds like desperation. It sounds like a long shot. It is a long shot. Is it desperate? Maybe. But, you know, I'm willing to go in there and fight anybody I have to get my opportunity and to be where I belong, whether it's welterweight, lightweight, middleweight, you know, and that opportunity to fight on the Ultimate Fighter and get world-class training, get paid to do it, be on ESPN, get the exposure, means more than fighting Shawn Lally at Cage Titans. And anybody that thinks otherwise is either biased, misinformed, or just, I can't even say. That being said, I told Cage Titans, Lally will understand. Tell Lally why I'm pulling out. He'll get it. He's a fighter. He's a man. And he didn't, you know. He went online and threw a hissy fit, and he tried to drag my name through the mud, knowing that I couldn't openly defend myself and tell people why I pulled out. He told people to reach out to me on social media and find me in person and let me know how they felt about me pulling out of our fight. And then even went to a further extent and told people to message him, and he would explain why I pulled out. I had a family member reach out to Lally and ask him why I pulled out against him. We have different last names. And Lally replied with, he thinks he's getting on the Ultimate Fighter, aka he's ducking me. I'll say this, because it does piss me off. And not like, you know, fighter to fighter, oh, you think I'm ducking you, I'm mad about it. But in a way of, as far as I'm concerned, I think we're all trying to get into the same place, the big show. Support for our family, make a living. Lally's been sitting on his thumb for the last 2 years not fighting anybody, and was gifted this title shot because I wanted to stay active, because I'm a fighter, because I wanted to do this thing. And then he turns around and says he deserves it, I'm an unprofessional fighter, and that I took away from his sacrifices and all his time away. I'll say this. I slept in my old 2006 Ford Explorer in Midsummer, California, outside of AKA, by myself, me and my dog, no family, no friends. I don't want to hear about time away from family. I don't want to hear about your sacrifices going to work at 6 o'clock at night to train down the street from your house. It's ridiculous. I digress, but I will say this. Man to man, fighter to fighter, Shawn Lally is a disgrace. You should be ashamed of yourself. There's one rule before you get on The Ultimate Fighter. If you think you're on the show, if you know you're on the show, before they announce that you're on the show, which is usually when they already flew you out there and take your phone, do not tell anybody that you're on. Do not tell anybody that you think you're on. Now, last time I got on the show, I actually also had a fight booked against Dan Dubuque at Reality Fighting. I pulled out of that fight just the same, and I told them I'm 99% sure I'm on the show. You can tell Dan that, and, it is what it is. Dan reached out to me and messaged me and let me know, hey, man, we're all trying to get to the same place. I would have done the same thing. I wish you luck. That's how I assume any fighter would take that message. It sucks when your fight falls through. I understand the frustration. But if you're fighting a fight that you have everything to gain and your opponent has nothing to gain and they take such a big opportunity like that, I mean, put 2 and 2 together, man. Now, obviously, last time I got on the show, it worked out pretty good for the most part, minus the finale. But this time around, unfortunately, I will not be on this season of The Ultimate Fighter. So that's that. So now you know why I pulled out of my fight. You know that I told Cage Titans on January 8th that I was out of the fight. I gave him a heads up on December 8th that I was applying. Now, I'm not saying it's Cage Titans' fault that Lally found out last minute. I'm not saying anybody should have done anything differently. I'm telling you my job is to agree to fights, train for fights, make weight for fights, and fight fights. And if so be it, tell people why I'm out of the fight. I did all my duties, I told them I was in, I trained, I told them why I was out. As far as when the message gets relayed to Shawn Lally, it's not my job. None of my business. I don't get paid to do that. I'm not a promoter. I'm not a promotion. I'm a fighter. I do what's best for me, my career, and my family. And that was it. And I will say this. Shawn Lally had 3 replacements at the ready. Could have fought him on the last Cage Titans card. I'm not saying he has to fight any of them. Never said he did. But he went online and said that because I waited till last minute, I ruined the opportunity for him to fight and his fans to see him fight. He told Cage Titans that none of those fights interest him. He only wants interesting fights. You guys take what you want with that, but I'm here to finally defend myself and let you guys know why I pulled out of the fight. Let you guys know that he's just a piece of garbage as far as I'm concerned. His teammates, everybody that dragged my name through the mud knowing I couldn't openly defend myself on public forums and social media. This trying to run the narrative in a certain direction is just scumbag work. And unfortunately, all of New England mixed martial arts is plagued with the crab in the bucket mentality. I'm not saying cheer for fighters on other teams. Like, you got to win your fights. We have to fight each other to get to the next promotion. But when things are outside of fighting and can get you to the next level and everybody's just trying to pull you back into the bucket, it's how everybody ends up not making it out, And then we have these same people wondering, why is nobody on UFC Boston? Why don't they come to Boston more often? Well, we don't support each other. We tear each other down at every instance that we can. So that's why. But back to where we started. Why did I pull out of the fight? I had an interview for the next season of The Ultimate Fighter. It went phenomenal. I was 99% sure I was on. I was incorrect. I won't be on the next season. It is what it is. It sucks that I didn't get to fight in January. It really, really does. But, I felt bad for Lally until he threw his hissy fit. Now I just don't care. And honestly, I'm glad that he didn't fight. I don't care. I'm angry about it. I think what he did, dragging my name through the mud, knowing I couldn't defend myself, was disgusting. Why did I wait till last minute? I didn't. I informed Cage Titans about 3.5 weeks that I was out of the fight. I informed them 2 months out that I could potentially be out of the fight because I was applying for the next season of The Ultimate Fighter. What happens after that is out of my control. Now, the next question that I know people are going to ask, what's next? I don't know. Since I pulled out of that last fight, we had a lot of things come up. Obviously bulking up, to try and fight at middleweight makes it a lot harder to come back down at lightweight, because prior to taking this fight with Lally, I said this would be my last fight at 170. And when I applied for the Ultimate Fighter, I told everybody around me that that would be my last go above lightweight. So, like I said in my post when I had officially publicly announced I was out of the fight, that was the last hurrah above 155. I'm going back to lightweight. I'm super heavy right now, bulked up, and now I got to get my weight back down. As far as when I'll be fighting, I want to fight as soon as possible. I don't care how difficult it is. I'm ready. I can make 55. It's just, I know what I have to do. I've made 55 starting from this weight before, so we just got to do that again. I also don't have a vehicle. My car shit the bed right after I pulled out of that fight, so I've been bumming rides to training and, training outside of the gym and lifting at my garage and running and stuff like that. And it's been super hard, and money's tight. And we actually, if you see the little cat in the background running around, she actually just came home from the vet a couple days ago. We had to drop a couple $1,000s at the vet. She stayed overnight, and it was a real scary thing, and it was a real financial hit. I was gonna go look at some new vehicles, and that happened. So, we've got some things we got to take care of first, but most importantly, I don't want it to get lost in translation. Everybody that sent me kind messages hoping I'm healthy and okay and wondering what's in the future, I appreciate you. Skeletor's Evil Army, y'all are the best. We will be back ASAP. I appreciate everybody that has my back, all my sponsors, Hene Reels, Caged In Podcast. We have 2 Fight Bros. Y'all are the best. I appreciate all the support you guys have had for me. I'm going to keep repping you guys, and we're going to get right back in the cage as soon as possible. And we're going to win a couple more belts and get back in the UFC by the end of this year. Nothing has changed. Same goals, lightweight and new. Don't care. So we'll see what happens. But I appreciate you guys. I've got some speed bumps in the way. We're going to get over them. We're going to get through it. And stay tuned.